Hi everyone, it's Mark here. I'm the chair for this big hackathon that we're organizing this year, which has got a very strong sustainability theme. There's going to be about 100 organizers that are involved to support students and sponsors, etc. We're expecting over 1,000 students to participate, coming from over 10 different learning institutions around the world. We're really looking forward to this. Um, if you're not that familiar with hackathons, this slide here may really help understand what it is. Um, I've come to know hackathons really well. I've been working in hackathon as a judge, as an organizer, etc., uh, over um, for over 10 years, and I can tell you from personal experience, because most of the hackathons that I've had, I've always had something like 40 or 50 of my students participate. Um, the feedback that I get is that this is a really, really important learning event for them. This is probably the best form of experiential learning that I can think of. And from a student perspective, they usually find it to be one of the most meaningful things that they've done during their college time. It tends to greatly enhance their market value, something that they have on their resume, and also some real skills that they gather, both hard skills in terms of, let's say, coding or engineering or user interface design or project management, and also soft skills such as problem solving and communications and leadership. Um, I have a, if you're interested in that a little bit more, especially as an educator, I have a white paper here that you can download, and it kind of conveys some of the excitement that we have when we had, well, before the pandemic, when we had the in-person hackathon. So there we have Jordan Banks kicking off a dementia hack. There we have a dementia hack happening at George Brown. Here you see like the hackathon teams working with mentors and judges to understand their solution. There you kind of see the camaraderie that exists. And here's some of the real excitement too, like this, for instance, is Toronto Mayor John Tory speaking to one of the development teams. Here you see camera crews from CP24 News, etc. Here you see, these are students that we had in my class presenting their solutions to the judges, etc. It's really, really, really um, wonderful experience for everyone involved. So our hackathon this term is the thing that we do is we work together with the folks that are sponsoring us to develop the challenge sets that we're going to be promoting. And the categories for this year are going to be cities, municipalities, global causes, net zero goals, and corporate social responsibility. Um, all right, the pandemic hit, and then the Seneca, the college here, has been a real leader in terms of putting on virtual hackathons in the pandemic era. We first started in 2020 as a direct response to the COVID pandemic and put a COVID-19 business response. And this was really to try to offset some of the damage that the COVID had done to local businesses. And it was a fantastic event. We had over 400 students involved and great sponsors such as Microsoft. Um, we followed that up the next year with a digital health hackathon that wound up being even bigger, with over 600 students participating and even more sponsors involved this time, Salesforce, CAMH, etc. If you thinking through like the hackathon that we have, key sort of stakeholders here are the sponsors that work with us, and the key thing that we do with the sponsors is we need their subject matter expertise, and we need to understand what the problems are that they face. So the sponsors help us with the definition of challenge sets. They help us to mentor the students. The students need to get deep insight into the subject matter that is involved. The students need to get support often for the technology that we, or ideas or innovations that we might think can be used to help solve the problems. The sponsors help with judging, adjudication, and they also help us with the pricing. Samples of challenge sets that we've had in the past, really cool ones like using innovation on behalf of the participants to address problem gambling, social media addictions. With our digital health hackathon, students were working, quite early on creating digital health and vaccine passports. doing remote monitoring that's non-invasive for elder care, et cetera, et cetera. With these past hackathons, we had about 50 organizers. This time around, we're having about 100 organizers. Always really focused on having diversity here, diversity in terms of the programs that are represented, diversity, inclusiveness of, senior students, junior, any student from any college. We always have cool prizes. We always have swag, t-shirts, cash, giveaways, internships. And maybe one of the best things that we have is the ability for the winners to present their innovation, their solution, look for a commercialization path they get to present to Bay Street investor group called Thinking North that has over 1,000 members in it. So typically there's about 100 or so that are interested in this. Also, what we introduced last semester was the micro-credentialing. So organizers, participants, and winners receive micro-credentials that come from Seneca College. This chart here, one of the things that we see with hackathons is, first question, is this just a program? Do I have to be a programmer to do this? And the second question is, it's just really for the senior year students, and the answer to both of those is no. And this, again, based on a lot of real practical experience that says that the best teams in hackathon aren't ones where it's uniform, like you have 5 coders, or you have 5 engineers, or you have 5 project managers, or you have 5 UX designers. So we know for an absolute fact that the best innovation comes from teams that are diverse, and diverse in terms of the type of programs and backgrounds, et cetera, that participants have. And also, it's really important, this is not just seen as something that is for senior students, so junior students benefit just as much, if not even more. Any of the winners that I've ever talked to, it's hardly ever their first rodeo when it comes to a hackathon. It's usually they go to one and they're inspired by it, and then they sort of move up and do better and better. The categories that we've selected, as I've told you, are cities and municipalities, global causes, et cetera. You can see them here. But what happens now is we drill down further. So if you look in the cities and municipalities category, we have a category manager for that, who is Michelle Bento. And then each one of the challenge sets themselves will have what we call a partner experience officer that is focused on the partner that's helping us with this, and also a student success officer that is focused on supporting the students and mentoring them and giving them encouragement. So the key sponsors that we have for this include the City of Vaughan, the City of Brampton, Waterfront Toronto, and the Toronto District School Board. The type of innovation that we look for here, a lot of it has to do with these regions looking to promote eco-spaces and natural heritage properties that they have. So there's huge interest in students innovating with apps or gamified applications that encourage a kind of behavior that they want to see, especially increasing use of these kind of spaces and awareness of them. There's a lot of data involved, and there's a lot of need for organizing, cataloging, and analysis of data. The municipalities are also giving us lots of data sets. So those interested in analytics and things like that will get public data sets made available to them, and they can innovate then on how to tackle emergency management, traffic problems, and then a big one was water loss. Everybody's interested in modeling of buildings and having zero carbon buildings, and what is involved in that, how can we model that, and what techniques can be useful, and also for planning for communities with greater urban resiliency as we look into the future. Paramondeep is managing our global causes category. Some very inviting, very open challenge sets here. One is, I think, one of the best ones here, which is a real initiative by the students to raise their awareness of sustainability goals that are out there, and try and figure out how sustainability can be incorporated in any and all curricula and programs and classes that they have at our school or their school or your school. So we want to really promote far greater awareness on behalf of the students of sustainability issues and problems and goals, and include them into curricula. Also, there's a very direct link to the United Nations SDGs, so the Sustainability Development Goals. Another really big one here is working together with CAMH and looking at mental health challenges, issues, ones that have been just highlighted because of the pandemic, especially in areas such as gambling addiction, social media addiction. And then we also have a really cool thing we're doing with Yogfront in India, promoting traditional medicines and traditional health practices. So that's a great category. The net zero goals category is more specific to the needs of sponsors that we have, and we have some really cool ones here. So if you look at the list, we've got Formula One Grand Prix Canada. So yes, that is Formula One, and it's specifically the event happening in Montreal. And we have some really aggressive net zero goals that both Formula One around the globe and also Formula One in Canada have. And they need our help in innovating how that can happen. We have CPOS, which is a great vendor. We have cool challenges set here oriented at restaurants and how to reduce food waste. We have FutureTel, really cool sponsor oriented at how we can improve reuse and recycling and longevity of electronic devices. And then we have Voltaire Power, where we're working actively on operations management for solar plants. Corporate social responsibility category has some big name sponsors beside it with HP and Roche and Deloitte. With HP, there's a lot of topic and information on the circular economy, which has to do with dealing with the design flaws in products that we have today. We're also highly interested in integrating or initiating some thought process on the use of 3D printing to solve some of the supply chain issues and sustainability issues that we have there. Roche is one of our awesome partners that's providing us with really cool data sets that can be used to tackle big problems in healthcare. Deloitte is working with us in promoting sustainable employee behavior. So David Young is our category manager there. This is not so much challenge sets, but this is more enabling technology. So we're working with Google Cloud to provide their app engine and data analytics as a platform for students that want to use it. We're working with Octachain. They're providing a digital wallet for credential management. And then very importantly, our partner here is SOSCIP, where they're providing us access to supercomputer cluster resources for analytics, parallel CPU and GPU acceleration for those, on the computer side that want to experiment with it. Our timeline is noted here, so it's time now to register. If you look here at the registration site, you can, you're really encouraged to come and register. And when you do that, you go to an Eventbrite site, as you see here, and it's just sort of standard stuff. But it is open. Like, we do want you to indicate what school that you're from and what team you want to be in, and maybe some initial, if you have a preference at this point in time, let us know about it. Cool stuff. We have really good great social media campaigns. So I want you to, take a look and then also to follow. And there's prizes as well for engagement with that. We have cool swag as usual. T-shirts. We're going with beanies as well this year. So inspired by the Tim Beebs campaign and the beanie that they have. So we're going to have ours too. We have some of the sponsors, really cool prizes. So there's actually a set of 5 Grand Prix tickets for the Montreal event. International participation is going to be really cool. So those of you, that want to form international teams, there'll be availability for that. We're going to have daily rejuvenation yoga exercises that directly streaming to us from India every day. Commercialization opportunities for the winners to go ahead again with Thinking North and present to that investor network. Seneca and other schools have the opportunity for students to take their initiatives and go and apply to federal, provincial government for NSERC or OCI funding. So that is that these ideas and these innovations with the sponsors behind them can turn into project initiatives. And as usual, we're going to have micro-credentials for our winners, participants, and organizers. Thanks for your attention. Really hope to see you.